So today we are going to have common interviews.
Common
A discussion.
open and back. How do you balance how do you know when yesterday during the talk, you said the wisdom and the faith need to be balanced. Can you explain how do you know how you balance the wisdom and it depends on how you approach that particular situation with the character, or is it how do you balance?
So that we can explain with respect to the sitting meditation, with respect to the walking meditation, with respect to the day-to-day activities also. Specifically this becomes critical when your object becomes very subtle. When the object is very gross, it is a mechanical thing you have to do. You are just following the breath. And when the breath becomes subtle, so many other things also going to happen, that your past memory is going to happen, beautiful visions going to happen, lightness and the light going to happen. So if you are so much of faithful, you will be just following them despite your primary object. And then you will be carried off. Presently in Sri Lankan meditation society, so bewildered. Whenever little results going to happen, they will be chasing behind that, leaving aside the primary object. And some people, knowing that very disadvantage of that thing, such kind of thing, they keep on noting and disturbing the primary object, not allow the meditation to unwind itself. So that both the things appear like extremes. One extreme is too much of faith, the other extreme is due to the result-oriented exerting. Both won't give. So you have to understand in the warfare how to handle the sword. It must be firm as well as flexible, so that only you can use it. So if you are going to handle very firm, you can't fight it. If you are very swift and it is going to lose off, then again you are the loser. So therefore, more and more the meditation becomes subtle, meditation advanced, you will be more challenged, you will be more tested. And the sideways are very startling. Whatever you are going to take, you will be taken off, and ultimately no permanent damage, but wastage of time. And not only that, while you are traveling this off the routes, offshoots, you are going to give a completely wrong interpretation on the Dhamma. Misinterpretation of Dhamma. So therefore, you must understand that half knowledge is dangerous. And that is what it happens, because so much of demand for the meditation, so people with a little experience, either bias with faith. So people with the bias with the faith, whenever they see a Buddha image, that becomes very big thing. So they are talking about much on the, I see the Buddha and I am following the Buddha, and it is more than what I see, and I see the image of the Buddha, I see the image of Ruwanalisaya, I see this and that, ultimately they will be carried off. Some people think everything is hallucination, so they want to have a quick result. Under such circumstances, they keep on hammering on the primary object. Even the primary object is going to give a proper lead, you won't allow it to happen. Allow it to do, you are exerting too much of energy. That also makes the meditation very rough, very harsh, and no smooth ride. So therefore, understanding that it's a utter trial and error.
Based on the individual.
Based on the individual, each and everyone falling into either trap. Not a single one can travel without falling into the trap. So therefore, we are no inferior, no superior. Everyone is falling into either one. No one knows the middle part unless 1001 times you have to fall, and then only with your understanding, as it's that you understanding how much to eat and how much to sleep, it's a lifelong experiment. No one can tell you this much you have to eat, this much you have to sleep. Exactly the way when you are doing only, and the most, sometimes it is more complicated. So once you master the materiality, the calming down of the primary object, you will be tested in the very harsh manner at that time. And once you go there, today in the talk we can discuss it, it will go into the balancing the feelings. That is more mental side, and there again you will be put into test, not in the material side. With the help of the material side, the gross understanding, you will be put into a more subtle test. And when it goes to the perception, you get completely lost. You understand how much misperceptions you have. Every time when you are talking, every time when you are dealing, we have a kind of a show-off. We are always acting. We are always like actors, double action. And then how we are going to be a normal? How are we going to become a citizen John? Never. So you feel ashamed. What are we doing? We are living on other sides. We have no our normal set of values. Everything is imposed by others. And then we are going to live up to that. It's exhausting. And utter the scattered idea within, at home, because you are showing off. So therefore it is basically due to the perception. We misperceive our friends. We misperceive our neighbors. We misperceive our properties, and ultimately we are the slaves to live up to that. It's utter wastage. In my language, it is, you are trying to drive a train on the bus road. Or you are try to drive a bus on the railroad. So it's a completely, everyone is a joker. Each and everyone is a joker. No one is true to type. And then whenever you become true to type, people will say you are mad. For the people, that is true. That is true. Either you have to be a saint or a man. These are the two designations you have in the society if you are living true to your type. So therefore, whenever you come up to the, perception, you understand the difficulties, not the difficulties, it's a miscommunication. Whatever we are talking, listening and writing, no communication happens. No mind-to-mind communication. More than what I am telling, what you listen is what you wish to listen. You know, no devotion, no complete absorption. Because you have your own interpretation, you have your own perception. So, whatever you listen is what you like. Otherwise, it's the same thing you would have listened 10 times. We never pick it. Because we are not mature enough. We pick what we find that is more promoting our ego, promoting our desire, promoting our conceit. So these are the things we call appealing. Other things are not appealing. And due to this misperception, we are always manipulating the phenomena. We are adjusting it. We are adding something or subtracting something. We are never happy with the phenomena as it is. That is what we call sankhara. Sankhara means the mental formations and the volitional formation. We are so engaged. Each and every time we do adjustment, we get committed. We are caught up in the karma and karma result theory. Definitely they are going to have repercussions. So whenever you can see the thing and do nothing and just observe, it appears like absurd, but that is the most safest method the Buddha mentioned, and that is what the beauty of the children. They can look at and just wait, because they don't know. They have no sensor. They have no ability to do it. So therefore, whenever the sankhara going to happen, you will try your best to not to do something and just see. It appear like you are callous, appear like you have no senses, appear like you have no feelings. But the feelings and senses are always try to get ourselves hooked up and committed, and therefore ultimately so much of karmic forces coming. Whether you like it or not, in future, results are going to happen. So when the results are going to happen, you are asking, oh God, what is this? How this happened? My God. There is no God. That's your own past commitments. Other things are happening. So this is the way the mind is manifesting. So therefore only the faith can't help. Only the wisdom can't help. You must have the balance between. So it is like a tightrope walking. You are going with a big stick in your hand. Whenever you are going to balance, you have to balance with the two umbrellas or with two big stick. When the monkeys are going on the tightrope, they have their tail up. With the tail only they balance it. So it is not only the meditation experience, but the proper value judgment, proper value system, or proper view. That is completely independent issue. Whatever the good Dhamma you are going to listen, whatever the way you are going to experience, the interpretation of your experience is a completely different story. That is why the integral spirituality, they are going to say, it must be a completely comprehensive thing. Till all the factors are going to come aligned with, no transmission going to take place. Even a single factor is out of the order, it's just stuck. The limiting factor, the theory of the limiting factor, as far as that is limiting, the thing won't happen. So it appears like very, capitalistic. When the situation happens, it happens. If it is not so, they come and won't tell you, this link is correct, incorrect. So just withdraw the results. So you have to go back again, the trial and error, and check up each and every moment. And whenever you adjust it, things happen like automatic and electric. So in that sense, it is very, very electric, very energizing. Things are happening according to cause and effect relationship. Your main duty is to see all these things are alive. To the last moment, to the foolproof method, test it again and again. Therefore, each and every breath you have to consider as a something new. Don't think that breath is exactly the same one, therefore it is boring. If that is the case, you are missing the bus. Each and every mishap, each and every listening, hearing, you must just see like a baby, just see for the first time. Don't assume it is happening for the second time or third time or boredom. That means you are not fully mindful, fully vigilant.
So one day, without the teachers having a guidance, so it's very difficult for you to achieve.
Even with the teacher, the danger is there. The probability is there. Because that you can be with the teacher for a long time, even then if your egoistic idea is too much, if your one-upmanship, the conceit is too much, you won't catch it because it won't generally become attractive, even the teaching. So therefore, even with the teacher, your surrendering capacity, your innocence and humbleness, and the giving up ideas, giving up nature, the letting go nature, must be intrinsic in you. And then only the teacher become attractive to you. The teaching will be something special and something you can experience. Otherwise, you are keep on doing, nothing happen. So even the teacher may help you, but that is different issue. But whatever maybe, if you are not mature enough, if you are not ready,
How can one find out whether somebody you are ready or not?
So trial and error. Only one method. Only one method, even for the Buddha or even for us. The trial and error, you can imagine after the Buddha accumulating so much of abilities and qualities, 6 years he did to the rock bottom. Tested this body, nothing we have to do. He has done. So how such a thing can happen?
No, that was because he was even the first one to rediscover. But we have been following his guidelines, so we are really at an advantage in being able to do it in some people can do it. If you not, if you have a good teacher, they say that you can, in the morning you can get the advice and by afternoon you can attain the
result. Yeah. So therefore that is also maybe true for one person, not true for the other person. So therefore there is no the technical writing one can write, this is definitely true for every person. There is no such a set of guidelines. Or the computer program that from the dialog box you can lead to other and the next dialog box with other. So it is multidimensional. It is not a linear system. So therefore it says that even practicing itself is worthwhile. Practicing itself is to be appreciated because that is the only way available. That for the unwise people, they will take it as a negative because whatever the practice going to do, that if you are not mature enough, you will not have it. Therefore, they find a reason to be not to do it. But that is not the way. You have to understand, nothing like try. Keep on practicing. And then whenever the maturity happens, things will unwind. Therefore, it says that don't think about the end result. The practicing itself is, you are confining to the moral conduct. You are trying your best to keep the concentration. You try to always be mindful, so that itself is enough. That itself is internally and externally both enough. Because you are not disturbing the society and you are not creating more and more things accumulating, but instead the letting go is going on. So that practice itself is, the means will justify the ends. So you are fulfilling the means. So it is, only thing is you can't ask the other person to do it. You have no rights. The other person has to understand by himself or herself, you can live up to an exemplified life and so that other will follow. But whether the other person follow it or not, we don't make it as a good or bad side. It is no positive, negative. It's a completely different issue. And amazing it is how came for 2,600 years with this kind of impromptu adjustments. But anyway, there's a kind of dhammata, universal law, that it is happening. So you have to get the mean advantage of it by keeping yourself always available. Keep in the battlefront.
You can't put a time limit for
that is the whole this discussion. We are thinking of in terms of result-oriented approach. That cannot be. And that is the one, you can put it in this way, the motivation. What is the motivation for you to achieve this? At the beginning, you have the way of where the teaching is goes. At the beginning, it says when you give something, you will get something. So that is materialistic gain. That's kind of your assets. You have to have assets. Otherwise, you can't. And then it says that even you get the materialistic assets, what about your peace of mind? What about your fearlessness? For that, you have to give the fearlessness. That means moral responsibility is not to kill, not to steal, not to misconduct. That means give the fearlessness to the others. If you are going to give the fearlessness to the others, mentally also you will get the fearlessness. And that is something substantial in the ethical point of view. And then, in order to maintain this fearlessness, does this physical and verbal deeds enough, or will it disturb, or will not be durable with the time to come? If that is the case, you have to train the mind also. There is a concentration training. In the concentration training happen, the gain that you are getting is not materialistic. It is immaterial pleasure, and that only communicable, only addressing to the only limited amount of population. Very little people are thinking about the material pleasure, and for your motivation is to go there. But when you come to the Vipassana meditation, your aim is not the materialistic pleasure, your aim is not the fearlessness, aim is not the here and now happiness. You understand they all are traps. They all are developing kind of a desire. So therefore, even when they get your assets, even if you get the fearlessness, even if you're going to get the jhanic kind of happiness, how to be unattached with them, how to detach with them. So what is the motivation then? What is the motivation? What makes you pushing forward to keep it? So that indicates therefore, at the times the Buddha used to say, Attatta panya asuci manusa, nikarana dullabha jamita. He says, if someone is behind something, it is inferior, it is dirty. Anything. Attatta panya is having an aim to achieve something, he says it is inferior. Nikarana dullabha jamita. The real person who is striving but without aim is very rare. Just aiming at Nibbana, Nibbana is nothing.
But aim is Nibbana.
Aim is Nibbana. Nibbana is not you can measure in terms of assets. You can tell that you are searching for fearlessness or physical the fear and now pleasure. No, all these are there but detached. So therefore Nibbana you can't comprehend. So someone is aiming at Nibbana, that is the rare thing in the world. If someone is behind something, the object will decide your motivation, but you are self-asserting.
But if someone is saying, okay, I can't reach Nibbana this time, but at least go to the first stage, like Soda Patti. So is that
it's also Nibbana. It is also Nibbana.
That is also aim, reaching to something.
Yeah, that aim, the thing is that you can't quantify it. You can't size it up.
So therefore it's not.
Yeah, I mean that is, the Buddha says that is nothingness. So, if anyone is aiming at such a supreme, refined thing, it's very rare, he says. People are always behind something. He says that is dirty, that is inferior. But the thing is, Buddhism is promoting you to have something. At the dana level, sila level, samadhi level. But the object is slowly refining. When you go to the Vipassana also, early part, there are some tangible, reachable objects. But more and more you go to the deep layers, the object itself is evolving, ultimately rectify into the nothingness. That is very difficult to comprehend. Because in the physics and chemistry and kind of thing, we have a solid object. So we have a distance, we have to remove the distance and you will be there. So you can measure it up with the time and space. But as far as the Nibbana is concerned, if it is measurable, that is dirty, that is inferior, that is nothing appreciable. But you are doing for the sake of doing. Nibbana as your final aim, when you go there, reach the Nibbana, what happens is you are no more there.
You have already lost your ego.
Yeah. So therefore it says that during this dispensation of the Buddha, so much of people achieve Nibbana, no one has thrown a party. When there is no reason. Any other achievement, the minute and inferior things, we throw parties. But whenever you achieve the supreme, the person who is throwing party also thrown away. No parties. So therefore the motivational theory of the Buddhism is not related with the other worldly knowledges. Worldly knowledges have a concrete object. And the something person here to achieve, and there's a time and space distance. So you are formulating how to get rid of this distance, and you will be with the merge with the object. And that is how even the God, the Krishna, and everything is silently there. But here, right from the beginning, you have to make sure, by attaining the Nibbana, you are gaining nothing, losing nothing. So after the attainment in the Samyutta Nikaya, the Devata Samyutta, one Devata, or that celestial being, come and ask the Buddha, when he was very in a serene evening night, under the sun, moon, he is meditating. He is asking, oh dear friend, have you got anything? Buddha says nothing. Have you lost anything? Nothing. So that, am I to say that you are losing nothing and gaining nothing? I think that is the only thing explaining what I got, the Buddha says. So, anyone who is in this side is thinking they are going to gain something. But what is happening is you are giving up your ignorance, that's all. The getting up of the ignorance is the wisdom. There is no other crystallized form of wisdom. Or otherwise, quantification of your ignorance is our endurance. The day you understand the amount of ignorance, you will be amazed to see how we can manage with this much of ignorance. Once you go on, no friction. That is what we call the knowledge. There is no other wisdom as such. This is the lack of the ignorance is the wisdom. So our each and every effort, we are understanding our magnanimity, the largeness of our ignorance. How much thing we are doing due to how much we are forking our fingers due to our conceit, due to our desire, and due to our egocentric ideas. So unless the world is happening, running perfectly, but you are the one go there and walk fingers, and ultimately you are the one get hooked up, get committed, and creating repercussions.
Advantage that we talked about jnanas yesterday. Now, there is a describable sort of point or understanding as you go, as you progress, like you said that. But you might start understanding middle and the end. And samasana, say beginning, middle, and end. Is there a describable understanding point in Makama also like that?
Yeah. So that tonight I think we take it up. And there are also that, for example, when we are telling, if I am to refer back to the yesterday's talk about the Namarupa Paricheda Jnana and Paccaya Jnana, we can say that Namarupa Paricheda Jnana is as if we are acquiring some kind of a knowledge. But the main purpose of the Namarupa Paricheda Jnana is getting rid of your egoistic idea. There is no substantial ego. That if you have to have any had any kind of egoistic idea, that will dissolve and everything is nothing but Namarupa. So there it is not something acquiring, but something you are shedding off. When the Paccaya Jnana comes, you understand there is no supreme being causing something. Only the cause and effect relationship is interacting each other, that's all. That not only the personal ego, no, there is no super ego. Getting rid of the idea about the superego is the one what you get in the Paccaya Jnana. So each and every time you are shedding off your worn out skin rather than acquiring something. So in order to facilitate or feed the people, those who are searching for something, put it as a jnana. He says you are acquiring the Namarupa jnana, you are acquiring the Paccayaparikkha jnana. What really happens is, little by little, your ignorance is shedding off. Your worn out skin is shedding off. So it's the shedding off is the jnana. The dropping off your burden is the jnana. There is no other thing. Other something you can crystallize. Other something you can buy in the supermarket. Other you can sell in the supermarket. No such a thing. Everywhere what happens is you are giving up layer by layer of your wrong beliefs or wrong understanding or ignorance.
So Bhante, so according to some teachers, they advise to students to do this is not me, this is not mine, this is not set myself, and keep on walking and do meditation on that. So is that the same thing, or is it wrong what you're doing?
No, it is not the totality of the teaching. For example, according to his question, then how to balance the faith and the wisdom. When you are meditating, supposing that you feel calm and quiet, mind also settling, the object also settling, and the body also settling, then you are going to feel a kind of a light and lightness, for example. When that happens, it's a kind of an achievement, because otherwise your body is an agony, excruciating, and the heaviness, and you feel get up and go, but instead now you are going to feel kind of a relaxation, kind of a light and lightness. When that happens, you have a tendency to cling into that. The meditative results, otherwise the body is very painful. Otherwise sounds are coming and distracting, sounds and the thoughts. But whenever you are going to get that kind of a good experience, they are free of these hindrances. So therefore tendency is there to claim this thing as my results. Claim this thing as it is me. It is better to cling this thing to as me. So in order to not to get into that trap, it says don't claim that meditative experience as me, mine and myself. Because whenever it happens, what happens is definitely you get attracted to that, magnetized into that. It is happening. And on the way only you come to know now you are no more with the primary object. And you are engaging in this. It's of course good thing. Of course your own results. But then at least at that time, if you can disclaim them, this is not me, this is not mine, this is not myself, then you have a chance to come back and start with the point where you lost the primary object. And then the progress happens. So at that moment you have to use it. But when you come back to the primary object, you have to, you are not disclaiming my primary object. Primary object is your path. So you are keep on doing it, is also refining, but you are promoting it. And sometimes it appears like it's a boring, it's a boredom, it's a fearfulness, it is massacring and difficult. And there also you feel like, I am not getting rid of suffering, but I am earning suffering. Like in the sitting meditation, specifically the Vipassana. There also you are going to develop kind of a hatred towards that, and you have to say this massacring suffering also not me, not mine, not myself. So that is why that specifically people, those who complain about the thinking, fantasizing, daydreaming and kind of wandering minds, they say that in reality, in fact, all these are thinkings without a thinker. That's why that I recommended that book, Thought Without a Thinker, by Mark F. Stein. He very clearly understands these are all not yours. These are not all you have to claim as me, myself. The day you understand, more than 95% of thoughts are without any base. They are just inert thoughts. So if you are going to worry them, your whole life you will be worried. Because mind is never disciplined. Mind is not moral. But if you are going to claim these thoughts, only the discouragement happens. If you are disclaiming this thought, this is not me, this is not mine, this is not myself, let the thoughts happen. Who cares? There also release is there. So whenever the pain happens, the sound happens, or thought happens, you can disclaim them because this is not your intention. You have no any will. You have no any intention for that thought. Or this sounds, or this pain, therefore you are simply disclaiming. Not me, not mine, not myself. And Dhammeta is the term the Buddha says. Invariably our mind is going and hooking up with the negative or positive. So when it happens, the mind made out of that thinking. Mind takes the thinking as food, or pain as the food, or sounds as the food, or sometimes your own achievement as food. So that called Dhammeta, arising by itself. You have to develop Dhammeta, disclaiming them, whether it's a positive achievement or negative punishment, both you disclaim. So in that sense, mama neve, mage atme neve, netam mama nesu hamasmi namesu atta, not me, not mine, and not myself, is a good mantra. But it is, whenever the mind goes to the wrong two ends only, you are disclaiming. The disclaiming, when I was in Perth, only one person suggested, this is a disclaiming is the good term. Our mind is to claim them as some of the good or bad of the meditation.
Yeah, good meditation,
So therefore, if you are disclaiming, you are not hindering your progress. You can keep on practicing, expecting either the good or the bad happen. Each and everything when happens, you just disclaim them, underestimate them. And then the progress is unhindered. Otherwise, you are going by all the side doors. So it's a wastage of time.
How do you know that kind of thinking is not the Vedana, Sanya, Samkhara? It's not a Samkhara that you're trying to tell yourself that, oh, this transformation or this is something that I'm trying to interpret that should not be in it. Is that the difference? It's because during that time you are not expecting something to arise. But when that happens this time, it's the wisdom. It's different from the time when you have that sankhara that arises as a sequence from mental formation. That is with the design. That we consider to be not good. But this time it's considered to be a wisdom because you did not form it with the design to get it. Is that right? So there is a difference between two sides.
Yeah, that the sankhara, the term is known as volitional formation or mental formation. It indicates basically, if you go into the crux of it, that your intention, your will, and your desire. If the thoughts are happening due to your intention, definitely you have to bear the consequences. And or if the pleasure going to happen, if it is happening your intention, you must have the ability to increase as you like or decrease as you like. But it is not. There are some happenings due to the cause and effect relationship. So you can claim it because this thought or pleasure or thought, everything happen, I have, it is because happening within me, therefore it is within my jurisdiction, it is me. But the thing is, if you must have the governability. You must have the initiative thought or the volition, the will, the motivation, but they are not. So as far as it is not your will, as far as it is not your volition, so don't claim them. Even the government going to come and tax you. Even the police come and tell you did it. You can say you can punish me, but I am not dead sure I have no that intention. It would have happened by me without my intention. That is, I am punishable according to your law. I am succumbed to that situation, but I am claiming my mind is at heart, I am sure, I had no that malice. If that is the case, disclaim. whether the constitution going to accept it or not, whether the police is going to accept it or not, whether your husband and wife is going to accept it or not. Buddha says, full clearance, I give the full license for you, as far as no intention is there. That is, sankhara is basically boiled down to the intention, the chetana, or volition. So, if you are not volitionally hooked up with it, forming something, you have to make sure whoever going to claim, whoever going to accuse you, they have their own rights to accuse, and you must not second them. Unless otherwise you have an intention. So therefore, intentionally, unless otherwise you are mindful, you don't know whether you did it intentionally or not. Mindfulness is the only one, because halfway things can happen. That is what in the cricket games, they started the third umpire. That means earlier there was 2 umpires, the field, the leg umpire and the matching. But later every decision passed by the umpire be challenged, telling his bias. And ultimately they came out with the third umpire, that's the television camera. So now whenever such a thing happens, umpires who can pass the judgment, if it is being challenged, they can put the action replay slow motion and see what is happening, because camera has no chetana, camera has no intention. Camera is not a cricket fan. Camera is not belongs to the home side or visiting side. So that is what, that no one can challenge. Otherwise they can say umpire is human error is there, he is biased to the home side or visitor side, he is a cricket fan, all that can happen. Therefore, unless otherwise you have this unhuman, the machine, the decision is challengeable. That is only because this machine, when it is recording, it has no any intention. When the camera is going to get the photo, it has no any intention. So our eye is also camera. Unless otherwise we add the value judgment, that is the point we get hooked up. Our ear is a good the sound recording machine or voice recorder, but it has no value judgment. But the value judgment is coming, whenever it comes, then it gets smeared with your liking and disliking that you commit. So Buddha says, look at the situation as an eyed person, but behave like a blind. Listen like a fully person with the ears, but behave or react. Your assumption must be just like a deaf. So that is a great challenge. That is a great achievement of mindfulness. So therefore, a thought happens, or any action happened by you, or any verbal thing, commitment happened by you, and the other person come and tell you, you hurt me, you irritate me, and kind of thing, or you praise me, you support me, kind of thing. You must not much carried by their evaluation. You must go home and see, have you had that kind of intention? If it is not there, nothing to worry. So in order to go back to the intention, you must have already established mindfulness. Otherwise, you can't claim. You have nothing to rely upon. No evidence. First-hand evidence. During the time of the Buddha also, there were a lot of accusation for the Buddha. And the disciples also very disturbed and came and say, one day we will leave the place because they are intentionally find fault with us, blackguarding us when we are going on the Pindapata. The Buddha says, no, nothing to worry. And he says, Game aranye sukha dukkha puttho neva attana nota parandaheya. Whenever you are in the forest or in the village, whenever you are inflicted with suffering and pleasure, don't try to accuse yourself or others. And he gave a upadim paticca. Usanti passa upadim paticca, nirupadim kena puseyo passa. All the contact happened due to your assessment, your self-identity. If there is no any self-identity, nothing can touch you. Your self-identity is the one, I am such a person, I have live in a higher place, you have not given me a higher place, and if it is so, you are the mistrusting me and giving me like that. If I'm going to assume like that, of course there's a case. But if I'm not assuming like that, there's nothing coming and hitting. So that is why you have to learn the art of how to become a citizen Joe. Just be a normal being. Don't try to put yourself in the pedestal and try to whitewash yourself. And then only the interaction. So Buddha says, Pusanti passa upadim paticca nirupadim kera prasayum passa. All the contact happen due to your self-assessment. If there is no such a thing, if you are so humble and if you are so ready to accept and adjust yourself, all you can rectify within yourself. Whatever the people are going to say.
Actually, this part, I remember when I was in school, it's related to the teaching of Okuliman master. Okuliman had a teacher who taught him, you use your sword, cut in the, emptiness. No one got hurt. So actually it was right, but he used it in the wrong way. Because actually if you cut on the zero identity, no one will hurt.
Yes.
But he used it as a teaching for the wrong thing. So Okuliman followed that, using his sword, killing people because he thought he killed on the no identity.
So that is an interpretation in the wrong way. And in America, they started this stress reduction program very much earlier. Now only it has come up to the national level. So earlier I heard that they have tried with the small children at the grade 4, at their age. And whenever the teacher is not there, they are bullying and fighting and hitting each other, kind of thing happens. They have asked the children to develop kind of a mentality. When the teacher is not there, he is going to bully me and he is going to tell me I am killing you and all the kind of thing. Whenever I am looking at him, he is doing something. So I get worked up. And the advice given is, wherever you are he is going to do something, if you are agitated, you are the loser. If you get agitated, you are the loser. But if you can maintain your mentality without getting agitating, he is the loser. That's all. So they have given this message again and again and again. And after a few years' time, 2 years' time, they have done a social survey to see. And some people, some children, by that time they are at the grade 6, they got it. Whatever the other person going to do, irritate you or bully you, if your mind is moved or agitated, he is the winner. But there's a chance, whatever he is going to do, you maintain your integrity, you don't care, or you don't look at it, or maintain your distance. So whatever he is going to do is at lost. And the children who have understood, have been asked to share it with the other peer group. They say, this is not something shareable. Those who get the idea. Those who don't get the idea. Very difficult to teach. Because the retaliation is the one that the children, they usually do. By retaliation, the other person becomes double-fold aggravated. And he will do things beyond control. So you must have the thing not to assume. Just appeasing by not retaliating. In order to not retaliate, you must have the unassuming quality, non-reactional quality. That is, appear like, timid. Yeah, appear like you are not social, you are not forward, you are timid like. But you don't know, you can nip it at the bud level, and the problem is there are no case. Retaliation is the one people take it as the strongness and to show something and to teach him something like. But the Buddha says ultimately what happens is you are accumulating so much of bad karma, physical and verbal mistreatment and transgression, and you are the one to suffer. So it is a way, it's a unquestionable private technique you can maintain. You are the winner. Whoever going to bully you, whoever going to do it, let him accumulate his own karma. for its own result, you protect yourself either by guarding your mindfulness or by just be compassionate, not to find the fault with inside, outside or inside. You will find fault with the inside or outside according to your assumption, your self-assertion. But the most beautiful thing is, for example, now he is bullying me, and all of a sudden I lose my temper and go in and hit. There are also nothing to worry. I mean, all the time we are not fully in control. So there also you have to understand, I am supposed to not to react. But at that time a reaction happened. So regression upon that is not necessary. At that time I am not mastering. I am not skillful. Forgive and forget. And they are even the consequences happen, nothing to worry because I have committed and they have to happen. But upon that also don't brood. Keep on brooding about I should not have happened, do it like that. Because the situation is fairly not under our control. This is anatta, it is not self. So therefore, even if you are going to have the celibate life and the spiritual life, some precepts are breaking. And the brooding upon that is utter waste. You have to forgive and forget about yourself. Even if you have so much of a tight rope walking, there may be some mishaps. So you have to forgive. You have to forget about. And if you are having that kind of a forgiving and forgetfulness within yourself, easily you can sympathize outsiders. Otherwise you will never sympathize outsiders as far as you become pedantic. As far as you are expecting everything to happen in the work to rule method, you find everyone to work in the perfect way, work to rule, so therefore ultimately you are the sufferer. But understand, world is heterogeneous. Lot of variables, varieties.
Okay, I have a silly question. During sleeping, if I have some kind of feeling like trembling, what should I do with that? Come back to the primary object, I would say. That's it, right?
No, it is not vehemently going back to the primary object. They consider this as something happened due to a cause. If that is more prominent, you are just dealing with it. If the primary object is prominent, you go to the primary object. Don't expect it is not to happen, and don't expect it is to happen again and again also. It happened due to cause and effect relationship. If it is not a hallucination, if it is something real, why not? There's no hard and fast rule that you must forget about and go to the primary object, or you have to forget about the primary object and dwell upon that. Let the intensity of the object to decide. If the trembling is so dramatic and intensive, you take the attention. If it will become a day-to-day thing and normal, you can go home, go to the primary object and continue. So there is no premeditated hard and fast rule to work. Many things where in the meditation, each and everyone has to undergo that some or the other abnormalities. I mean, they call it abnormal because our ego never expects that kind of thing to happen, but always happening. When it is happening, don't make much fuss about that. Let the intensity of the object to decide the path. Yatha pakatang vipassana vinivesho. That is how some commentators say, whatever may be prominent will decide the course. When the prominence is gone, you come back home. That means you come to the primary object.
How do you know it's hallucination or real? How do you distinguish?
So even if it is hallucination, it will take you for a ride. Once it is gone, if you are regretting only, you will be hooked up. If you are considering, hallucination can happen. Just like a reality. Concept and realities are no margins. What is the concept and what is reality? It is your own margin, your own concept, your own perception. They are all mind-made. So therefore, if it's a hallucination, okay, you are taken for a ride, you come to know it's a hallucination, but don't regret about it. End there, come back home. And then the least amount of wastage of time. So it is definitely expect to happen. One or the other thing happen each day when it is calming down. It is natural. Because we are going from known to unknown. We are going from gross to the subtlety. We are known from ego to non-ego situation. So therefore, many things can happen. So you are preparing yourself, you are rehearsing yourself, and that is what going to happen at your deathbed. That's what going to happen at your old age. That's what going to happen in your seriously sick situation. So you are not lost at that moment if you have some experience in the meditation if you had. So when I was in Australia, there was a young girl, of course, she was fat, and she used to shake like anything. And there were 60 people sitting, and it was quite odd. But she is sure that mindfulness is intact. So in the interview, she came and asked, when did such a thing happen, what you said? Then I told, sacrifice your life and the body, go. Just like a bulldozer. And then 3 days consecutively. And then everyone knows that we both, myself and her, have no any fear, we are going. But there's one lady, elderly lady came and she sit close to her and she got so frightened. And she went to another psychiatrist, person, he was also sitting, and told her that the lady is such a thing, Dhammajiva is not taking anything into consideration and she is shivering. And then that psychiatrist or is a hypnotizer. He has told that kind of people should not meditate, situation will be aggravated, and then you go and report to Venerable Dhammajiva. So she came running, the elderly lady, came in and told Vanaya, I am very sorry to disturb you, that so-and-so is. Then I told, what's the problem for you? Are you shivering in meditation? No. Then mind your own business. No, I went to that such and such professor. He told that, I told, is it a problem of the professor or you or that girl? I know the situation. Mind your professor to mind his own business. You mind your own business. She was so desperate. And that lady, the young girl came and asked, Mante, now it is becoming a social problem. What are we going to do? Then I told you, ask a question while you are in the discussion openly. I am experiencing that. But then she raised the question, written question. No one knows with the writing. And I told that as far as you can keep the mindfulness, even the body is shivering, sweating, whatever, never mind, you go. And so everyone was tensed. No one was happy. And later that girl also, 2 years later, she wrote to me, Mante, I was not much taking care about that, what you are telling, but recently event happens. My father, my beloved father, was underwent a heart attack, so we took him to the hospital, and I saw his body in the hospital bed. I was such a personality, but after the attack, he was completely lost. And I started shivering exactly like in the meditation hall. My whole body is collapsing, I can't stand still because everything is melting. I feel that what is it that my father is such a character? And after a while I came to know that I underwent this situation in the meditation hall, but they told, never mind. Until you won't believe, by that mere understanding of that, everything recollected, and I am still shivering, I can understand, I have already underwent it. And it's still the matter of keeping the mindfulness, and then onward, I was okay. And now I understand the value of that so-called mishap was really giving me the anchorage when it is really happening in the world. And therefore, I'm dead sure you have to undergo, you have to suffer. or you have to experience the death in the meditation. Following day only you will become Sotapanna. Never, I am assuring you, you have to give up everything. You have to give up your ego, your mental image, and everything shattering, everything melting. And then only you become reinforced. That means the day you come to the rock bottom telling, no, nothing can help me, everything gone, that is the point you understand your potential, your humanity. How much is it valuable for us to be a human? So as far as we are in the cozy situation and not undergoing any haphazard kind of thing, any single thing happen, it can cause heart attack. It can cause blood pressure. You don't know how to tackle it. So little by hardening, you are rehearsing it, so you are understanding how to balance in the vicissitude of the life. America is fast losing this character. It's sorry. So people are really giving the full comfort zone, never exposed to the germs, never exposed to the hard climate and emotions. Whenever such a thing happens, they collapse. And they have to have the medical support and the psychiatrists and all the kind of things right now. They never use their willpower. So what happens? You become so vulnerable. But the Buddha says that life, the friction of the life or the suffering is a matter for you to rehearse. You are going to face such a serious situation in time to come. Definitely you have to reinforce, you have to put up your energy, you have to put up your resistance power, the reinforcement power. Don't depend on the second nature. No money, no other agencies, no bank, no currency, nothing. You must understand your own capacity. So therefore that you have to training the Girl Guide and the Boy Scouts. Once in a way you have to go to the camp, forget about all the luxuries, how to live in the forest with the improvisation. That will give a kind of a beauty, kind of a resistance, how to live, put up with the life. So Baden-Powell, first and foremost writing he told, be prepared. That is what the Buddha says, be intelligent. Both of them are saying, they are not talking about this depending heavily on the luxuries, depending a bit on the agencies. I mean, it is good to entertain them, but don't completely rely upon them. At your difficulties, they are nowhere. They are lost. The willpower, your heart, your endurance is the one without missing will be with you. So therefore, the difficulties you find in the meditation is a real reinforcement. It's like the shield, or like the sanna. Sanna means that earlier the soldiers used to wear the iron clothes. Armored. That is armored. So, and the meditation, it will be giving, nothing to worry. It will give without any hesitation, shaking yourself and scattering yourself and boredom, monotony, all the kind of thing happen. So it's a very good sign mind is progressing. It's a very good sign mind is progressing. Many people ask how to go to Nibbana without going through this. Sorry. No way. No way. So when the time comes, your armor will become, your shield will come into your hand and fill that train. Okay, now we have taken almost 1 hour for the common interviews today. Any other question or comments or anything? Yeah.
Yes, I wonder why it doesn't what it's supposed to be. Why it's so difficult? Why it seems natural is the opposite, is the entertainment, the pleasure, why is that what seems, universally, just to a few people, everybody, that since you're born, that's why you seek, and that's what gives you, maybe you can say, relaxation or comfort, not only pleasure but well-being. Why is that what is supposed to be ultimate, or what we're striving for, why it's not then more like a natural thing, more spontaneous, and right there for, why so hard?
Yeah, I find two parts, two sides, if I get correct, I got the question. One thing is we are lucky, after 200 years of scientific development, now we are seeing the consequences. When the science is developing, everyone thought by pressing a button we are going to get everything and we are going to get the lasting pleasure. But now instead what happens is the environmental pollution is beyond our control. Mental pollution, depression, anxiety is beyond our control. Even the big governments are going to do. So therefore now, unavoidably they are face to face with us. That means we are running down the hill. So therefore, when the science come into being, people had so much of nice dreams. But now we are in 200 years later, in the backside of it, and we see the consequences. So this is the one thing. Second thing is, whenever you are in an army, you have to undergo some sort of training. That training is not what you wish. But otherwise you can't face the enemy, because the enemy has no mercy upon that. So you have to be ready, so you have to train yourself. But out of the army, some people will be picked for special task force. They will be the vehement treatments, what the enemy is going to give. So therefore, if you wish to become a member in the special task force, that your training is not like a normal soldier's. And once you go through the training, you become a national asset, not a normal soldier. So when your training going to take place, that does not indicate the end of it. That does not represent the end result. So therefore, by training, you understand your capacity, your capacitization. So therefore, more and more you training, more and more your immunity going to happen, more and more the reinforcement going to happen. That always not assured that it will be ever going to happen, but your confidence. After the training, you get the confidence and you can understand how the special task force soldiers, when they come into the battlefield, even the soldiers can't understand. Not about the enemies. There's so much of boldness, preparedness, that is because of the training. So therefore, training is not a kind of self-torturing. It is not a nihilistic. That is the way you understand the capacity, you understand the potential. So therefore, this is also never, that is why at the beginning I told, never one can impose upon someone. It is not a command. If someone is going to take it, I think by taking that challenge itself, he become a hero. Not by achieving, just by threading this path. So the Buddha says that you can win 1,000 in the battle, and people will say you are a hero. But unless, I am telling you, unless you win yourself, that your winning of 1,000 is nothing. You have to understand your capacity, your weaknesses, your potential. For that you have to put into test, put into the hardship. And that is the real acid test. Instead, people are very happy this cozy life and the relaxed life kind of thing. What is the consequence? Ultimately, you are ending up with these unwanted diseases, mental and health, physical. So therefore, now I think we have no much of escapism. Yeah, this thing is really narrowed down. Even the luxuries and the information technology and the infrastructure won't going to give that much of lasting results. They are temporarily, yes, that is what it happens. And therefore, the self-training and putting up your immunity and developing your hardness, no one can find. But I am telling you, if I am going to take that path, no one can challenge me, because it is my privilege. So the Buddha says, I am not telling in the pluralistic system, I am telling individual way, be here now. I am here now. No in a plural terms. That cannot be. Even you can't impose upon your here and nearby. They themselves have to take. So that, I don't know, that's the two sides I saw in your question. So therefore you will be cornered, you will be lost among the popular ideas whenever you are going to take the spiritual and this kind of endeavorance. But by going by the popular, there's no assurance that you are really going to end up with this everlasting bliss. No assurance. They are now becoming more and more suspicious and skeptic the way the popularity is going, popular ways. So the popular ideas is always the self-destructive. But the junk food people are going to eat, no, you're not going to give any health. Yeah. So all the kind of things. So therefore you had
obesity and back problems.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, the back problems will
never
cease. They keep on doing various steroid injections, keep on coming back.
So now they are thinking that any system, any economic system, political system has the beginning, the middle and the end. So we had the idea of this luxurious life and now it is also going to the end. So that is how the Roman Empire happened and the Chinese, these things happen. They have the ups and downs. So but self-trained people or immunized people, they are always destroy least amount of environment, least amount of their health, and they live long, and they are living a moderate life. They never go for luxuries. They never go for self-mortification. It's a moderate life. That is what the Buddha come out as an answer. But I know it is very difficult to sell. This idea no one will buy. The spiritual life, the be in the here and now, it is not a popular thing to sell. No one is ready to, that is sure. Okay, we'll go for walking meditation and we'll be coming here at 3:30. Yes. We have about almost 30 minutes. Thank you very much for your participation.